Welcome to the G.N.A podcast, Games, Nerds, and Alcohol.
Yes, where we get drunk and talk about stuff.
I would like to introduce my good friend, Watto. Watto, how are you doing tonight?
Oh boy, I'm having a good time. I got more slave and, fuck Ani. Ani can go fuck himself.
Yes, I must admit that I am upset with Ani and his performance in the last few movies. We also are joined by the article, How Are You, Good Sir?
I'm good. I feel like I slipped into a time warp. When did this become an Old West?
I don't know, but we are running with it. And we are joined tonight by potassium hydroxide. How are you doing tonight, good sir?
I'm doing great.
That is fantastic to hear. And I would be Benjamin Buford. Nah, I'm Cecil Xavier, your host. I'm back, bitches. You can't get rid of me. Thought you could. Even D tried to slip that bacon in there. A little antibiotics too, but I'm here. You can't get rid of me.
See, that's where I went wrong. I tried to slip in the sausage.
Yep. And all you found out is that I have no gag reflex.
True, but it was the best I ever had.
So welcome, everybody. Let's get on to the most important thing that's happening tonight. What is everybody, partaking in? Because, we got some people who can't drink, and we don't want to be prejudiced towards those people. We want those people to feel comfortable. This is a safe place for them. So let's crack down the line there. Potassium hydroxide, which I think I might actually call you that all night. Are you drinking anything with us?
Well, now I'm kind of ashamed to say it, but all I'm drinking tonight is water.
Nah, dude, one of us has to actually be the level-headed one.
Well, fair enough.
Unlike the rest of us who will be probably pretty fucked up. What about you, Article? What are you partaking in? Anything?
Yeah. I'm already pretty high.
Well, tell us, man. What is it? Was it sativa? What do we got?
It's a Platinum Valley again, which is my go-to. Kind of been the same for the last few weeks.
Very nice.
Just a good sativa.
Good high?
Yeah.
So are we taking bets on if by the end of the episode you're useful and coherent, or?
Well, if you do, you should bet against the idea. So it's a forewarning.
What about you, Zyber Bloodman? What are you doing?
Well, I am partaking in Clown Shoes Beer's The Exorcist Dry Hopped Stout. This thing is way better than I thought it was gonna be. The flavor is definitely stout, but it's got that sweet, earthy loveliness, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. If you ever come across it, I say give it a try.
So basically, it's an orgasm in a bottle.
Yeah, it's definitely an orgasm in a bottle.
Fucking A, I love it. I don't know how the hell I'm going to follow that. I'm drinking rum. It's not even good rum. It's like off-brand, no-label rum that I found. Actually, I don't even know where I found it. It was just on my counter. I think that's where I found it. I hope that's where I found it, because it was either there or it was in the trunk of my uncle's car, and that would be very bad. Anywho.
Drinking a random bottle in the back of your uncle's car?
Yeah, well, I knew it was either going to be rum or it was going to be like paint thinner or something. Either way, I knew I was going to get pretty fucked up by drinking it, so we're good there. It was the shape of a Ryan Nephew's bottle, but definitely didn't smell like it. It smelled more like turpentine than anything else. But I got to say, I'm pretty toasty right now. Pretty toasty.
Fair enough.
Next segment, State of Games. State of Games is where we talk about what we've been playing for the past week, or in my case, it's going to be like fucking 3 weeks, or we just pontificate on how we feel games are today. Or if there's randomly something you want to insert in there, other than some sausage like Zyber, you can just throw that in too, because, we don't care. We're a bunch of drunks. So let's reverse that one up there.
Insert? You bet your ass I just throw it in.
What's your State of Games there, Zyber?
My state of games? Well, my state of games is as follows. Magic the Gathering's Arena, I've been playing a lot of that. I hit into some Tomb Raider. I hit into just a lot of stuff lately. I'm trying my hand at Path of the Exiles as well. But mostly been playing Magic the Gathering's Arena.
Well, now that you mentioned that Path of Exile, did the new season for it start yet?
I only jumped into it because I had a lot of free stuff handed to me by my Twitch Prime. And I was like, well, alright, I'll do it.
Fair enough. Maybe we should play together sometime. You play the Standard League?
I have never played it, other than setting up my profile and going through the little tutorial thing.
Well, I can show you the ropes.
There we go.
I'm game.
Now you got a trainer.
Yeah.
What about you, Arco? What's your state of games there, man?
I really have not been playing a whole lot. Jumped into some Apex a little bit here and there. Other than that, I've just been pretty busy. I did play some Marvel vs. Capcom.
Nice.
And yeah, it would have been nice. But
Ruh-roh.
yeah, I think that people who create fighting games need to understand that there doesn't need to be a storyline. Like, I just want to have a bunch of characters that fight each other. Like, fuck storylines in fighting games. This is the dumbest shit ever.
Is a hint at Mortal Kombat?
I was gonna say, now, like, I'm the exact opposite. I actually love where they're going with storylines in fighting games now. They actually kind of give a progression to it that makes it feel worthwhile.
I don't know about that. I think there's a couple instances in which they work, right? I think Injustice or whatever.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking of that one exactly.
Yeah. That makes sense though, because it's like superheroes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, does Mortal Kombat really need a fucking storyline?
No.
Does Marvel versus Capcom need a storyline?
Sure, why not?
Oh,
Well,
God.
okay, so Mortal Kombat always had a storyline. It just was very subdued.
You know, it's always been terrible.
Well, yeah, that too.
Like the movies of Mortal Kombat are not bad, right? They're like, you could basically say they're practically based on the storylines of Mortal Kombat. They're just not good storylines.
So, like, did the original Mortal Kombat games even have a storyline to them? Because I don't remember one.
Yeah,
Well, like,
yeah.
it was always like the big bad guy, right? Shang Tsung and Goro, right? You couldn't play as those characters though. Now you can play as all the characters.
Mm.
Yeah, so the original Mortal Kombat had a storyline of, it was the whatever tournament it was, and Shang Tsung invited everybody there so that he could steal their powers and suck their souls or whatever, or suck them off, something, one of the two, or maybe both. I don't know. Maybe it was like a package deal.
Did they sum it up in like a giant scroll text, and that was just about it? Because I don't remember.
Yeah, that was it. So like the story you got was by beating the game, and then you read the story of each individual person's ending, and that kind of gave you an overarching story of what the hell was happening.
So that's why I don't remember, because I never beat the game.
Well, there you go. Yeah, Mortal Kombat did that for a while, where it was like you got all the story from beating the game. Killer Instinct did that too. Like, it would give you a little blurb at the beginning.
Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck the storyline for Killer Instinct was.
I honestly don't remember.
I had that game too. I played it a lot. I don't know what the fuck the storyline was there. But I didn't care. It was good. It was like, the mechanics were good. It was fun, you know?
Yeah, like, you remember Time Killers?
No.
The game where you could, like, cut people's limbs off and cut their head off.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know it was called that. But yes, I do remember that. That's been like one of my... I'm going to fucking look that up. I got to get a hold of that.
It was a stupid fun game. And they really should bring Time Killers back.
God, I forgot all about this fucking game.
There was nothing more fun than just like you and your one of your best buds pop the quarter in, and you're the guy with the sword, the knight, and all of a sudden you just do this one, it's like super swing overarching from over your head, and you just yell Excalibur and chop his head off in the first 3 seconds, and he just looks at you with this utter disdain. Just like, you asshole, you just killed me, and now I'm stuck.
It reminds me of the days when I was playing like Soldier of Fortune Gold Edition back in like the early 2000s, where you had to turn on the mature gore mode.
Yeah.
And sit there and cut off the limbs of the enemies, or shoot off the limbs of the enemies you're fighting. Yeah, it takes me back.
I remember playing that game at my friend's house, and it like blew me away because like every time you shot somebody, there was like exit wounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so Time Killers had a very similar storyline to Eternal Champions. You remember that game?
I do remember Eternal Champion. I don't think I ever actually played that one though.
That was a great game.
Oh yeah,
I
great
loved
game.
it.
Yeah, they took the fatality portion of it to a completely different level, which I loved. They made it completely dependent on whatever stage you were on of how you could kill somebody. But the basic storyline was that all these like characters throughout time have been lumped in together, and now they're fighting each other. And Eternal Champions had one for the Sega CD that I never played, and I always wanted to. Anywho, Potassium Hydroxide. What's your state of games, man?
My state of games essentially revolving around Black Desert and soon to be Counter-Strike and, of course, Path of Exile, apparently. I haven't played that in, I think, about 2 months. So, let's see if they've added anything new since I last left.
Nice. My state of games is actually stupid simple. So, I have been playing almost nothing because my past 3 weeks have been fucking crazy.
Whoa. Pump the brakes there, buddy. You got us all hot and bothered with what you were saying earlier, and now you just tell us you haven't done shit for gaming.
Well,
what the fuck?
So
Way to waste a Cialis.
So I have been playing a bunch of Sea of Thieves. So Sea of Thieves dropped their anniversary edition update. And I gotta say, the additions that they've done to that game are pretty fucking cool. Like there's some really simple things, like cooking. So before you kill a shark, the shark's dead. You swim away and you're like, haha, I'm not dead. I killed the shark. Yay. Now you kill a shark and it drops shark meat, which you can then go up to your boat, throw on a stove, and cook. And if you cook it too long, you burn the hell out of it and it's useless. If you get too short, it's raw and you'll eat it and throw up and all this stuff. But if you cook it just right, you get a great like buff from it where it will like start healing you a little bit more. They've also made some really great enhancements to the fighting. So the ship battles now you can actually do damage to like masts and all this other shit. Like you can take out the wheel so that they can't steer. You can smack their anchor and make it drop anchor on them. Just really fucking cool, some of the stuff they've done. So that's pretty wild. It's pretty fun. I've actually been playing a whole lot of guitar as of late because, but yeah, I probably said this before on the show, but back in November, my uncle passed away, and me and my brother went up with the intent to spread his ashes on Mount Slide. Never got there because my brother tore his Achilles tendon, so we never got up there. You know, we basically sat down, and just chilled out in a boot, and so we literally just sat around one of my uncle's friend's house and played guitar and bullshit, and that was it. Like that was all weekend. It was actually a pretty fun weekend. It sounds pretty lame, but it was pretty fun. I had like several orgasms over just the sheer number of guitars this guy had. Not to mention the guitars that this guy had. They're just freaking amazing. So I played a lot of guitar, and I've been playing a little bit of Strike Force, and that's really been it. But the one thing I want to say, like, I don't know if you guys have been tracking the legislation that they've been trying to come up with for video games and loot boxes, but they keep trying to dig that in, and it just keeps getting shut down by lobbyists. And man, I'm like, I still want to see something good come out of that, but all I see is a bunch of people spinning their wheels and spending a lot of money.
Are they trying to? What are they trying to? They're trying to like classify loot boxes as what, like gambling
And predatory business practices. So
that's what they're doing a lot of. They're really just trying to really tackle those and make it so that you can still have them in games. You just got to mark the game, I think it's adult only or 18 plus or something like that.
Wow.
So that's where I've heard like different things here and there, like on some articles I've heard to minimize the amount of predatory microtransactions, not only in child's games but also in mature content or adult video games as well, so that you're not being nickel and dimed, or in the worst cases like $5, $10, $30 for a costume piece, even or advantages.
I don't see why they like. What would that prove?
Well, and that's where studies come in, because there's various scientific studies that have shown that loot boxes and or these pay-to-win services they're providing could lead to gambling habits for younger audiences. So
Yeah, and that's the danger of it. That's where really
The good old slippery slope argument.
it's
love
that
it.
slippery slope.
like how weed is a gateway drug to like every other drug in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking true about weed, though.
I know.
Because now I smoke weed. Fucking gateway to weed, dude. Fucking bullshit.
Well, shit, man. We got one more here. Blue Shark, man. What's your state of games there, guy?
Oh, hey guys. So I've really only played Anthem this week. I haven't had a chance to really play any other games, and I'm still a little disappointed about the bugs. It's the game's interesting at times. I want to get through the story. I want to keep playing it because my buddy bought it for me, and I don't want his money to go to waste, and I kind of enjoy it. But man, every time I have to quit the game because it's frozen, or there's an issue, or I'm going to get kicked, or I jump in and, oh, wow, I'm in the social space and I can't hear anything. Oh, great, I got to end the game. Oh, there's the music back. It's... I'm worried about this slippery slope that gaming may go down, where we just get shit products.
So that's another thing is actually, so with the legislation that is being introduced, I actually ended up writing the senator who's introducing the bill to his email regarding not only gambling and loot boxes, because I honestly believe that those things should go away. I think it's a hindrance on the market and the consumers, and it doesn't look good for anyone,
Except for the business.
Except for the business who turn profit off of gambling and have third-party sites like gambling in CSGO now, over the past few years. But there's also another thing that's come out that's kind of like a scam.
Hold on. Gwent. Gambling inside of a game.
It's pronounced Gwent.
Gwent, yeah.
But doesn't gambling kind of operate on the notion that you're betting money in the hopes of winning more?
So does it really matter if the same endorphins are released based on the reward you get on the outcome?
Yeah, it does, because endorphins, it's not like we have a bevy of endorphins to choose from. Those could be being released for entirely different reasons.
It's a slippery slope when you're spending large quantities of money for...
Wait, but the purpose of a slippery slope is that it's actually an illogical argument to make, to say that this is going to lead to that, is going to lead to that, is going to lead to danger, right?
Right.
So, there's no reason. I can't think of any, logical reason why things would progress into, oh, no, now we're all just a bunch of terrible gamblers that can't control ourselves. If anything, legislation like that pisses me off because it assumes it has to assume the position that people aren't capable of making their own decisions. That really irritates me about politics, or well, more importantly, politicians.
I'm okay with them. So if they're putting it on it to make loot boxes go away completely, I'm kind of on the fence about that. I don't like loot boxes. I really do feel that it's a cheap way or a cheesy way of just keeping money income for the businesses. And
I actually like loot boxes, though. And this is why, because I'm a lazy fan, right? I'm a really lazy fan about supporting the things I actually like. But when people put little loot boxes together that are hey, this is a slew of stuff from A to Z of things that we find interesting about this particular gaming market or this particular area of anime or whatever. I think that's fucking cool, because then I don't have to go searching high and low for a bunch of cool stuff that I might actually like. I could just buy one of these random boxes.
I think we're talking about two different loot boxes. We're talking about in-game loot boxes where it's a randomized amount of digital content that you get that you pay real money for.
Yeah, I've never purchased one myself, so I don't see it as a problem.
Yeah, okay. So the thing that I find the biggest problem is where you've got it in an everyone or teen game, and let's just pick on Fortnite for a second.
How dare you?
You've got all these people playing Fortnite, And a lot of them are kids, and they're spending thousands upon thousands of dollars for these loot boxes. And like,
how are kids spending thousands though?
And I can get into that. They use their parents' credit card for one.
Right. So that's technically a form of stealing, which shouldn't be allowed, right? And you could put protections on those accounts to make sure they're like password protected, so you can't use credit cards and stuff.
The company has to do those. Has to put forth those systems. Yes, they do have to have those systems already implemented in games, and typically they don't.
And then you have the other problem where some parents aren't up to date on this stuff. Like, yeah, we know about games. Cecil's got a kid, and he's up to date on stuff. But some of like my parents, when I played video games, they didn't truly understand all of this stuff.
Oh yeah, neither did mine.
Well, we all probably grew up playing it. We didn't have to worry about this kind of stuff when we were growing up. I didn't have fucking internet probably until I was like 20. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, we have people that randomly jump into, or not randomly, but we get randomly matched to in like Halo 3, and some of the shit they said in there wasn't exactly something my mother would have been okay with.
Yeah, but like you have a right to be offended, but that doesn't mean taking offense is right.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is that parents don't know the full story. Like if they did, they probably would say, "Oh no, I'm not going to give you that because you're not going to spend money on this game like that."
Yeah, you calling your friends a stupid cunt doesn't work here in this household, son.
Yeah, like my mom would probably be like, "I don't want you playing that game because I don't want you listening to that kind of language. Or I don't want you listening to those kind of people." Or,
and I mean, they can try and control that all they want, but I mean, when has censorship ever worked? Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, but the problem is that they don't understand it. So they don't understand that in order to play this game to its full extent, I have to do this. They just think that, okay, so I have to buy Xbox Live, or, oh, my kid just needs stuff in Fortnite because of whatever reason. Right. And they don't truly understand that, no, that's just pointless. It's like asking for $1 to buy a toy from the dollar store. It's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like for other people, but I know like when I purchase something like through Xbox Live, the very ending thing that comes up is a very formulaic, authentic looking transaction that you agree to, that you have to agree to. So I imagine the same is true of a lot of these games.
So unfortunately, it doesn't exist, especially when you're talking about PC gaming market.
That I can understand as a problem because you're enticing kids to just push buttons on a controller. They probably don't understand that that's taking money out of accounts.
Right.
That's a different argument. But to that I say, okay, then there needs to be some oversight there, and there needs to be like if you have a child's account on your credit card, right, then you should authorize the credit card for the one overhanging the one umbrella purchase, right, for the game or for the Xbox Live or whatever. But then it should be locked, barring like a password for all of the transactions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also let's take a look at just parents saying, "Oh, well, my kid wants this. I'm just going to buy it because they've asked for it." They don't understand the ramifications of what they're actually doing, of they're enabling their child to, in essence, gamble.
Yet they have that right.
But that's the thing, is that I think that's what Blue Shark was trying to get at, is that they don't know what they're doing. They just think their kid is buying another part of the game. They don't realize that they're enabling their child to actually gamble in this game for some digital prize that they may or may not get.
Sure, but that's what I'm saying. Like they ignorance has a right to live freely too.
It does, but I think the fact is that they have ESRB has a rating, and the rating tells the parent in very simplistic terms, hey, this game is meant for this age group, or this game's going to have blood, or this game's going to have language.
Like, nobody listens to that crap.
Yeah.
Right,
the thing is that it's there as a way of stating it, and that's kind of how my mother bought video games for me. Like, I don't approve of this game because it's rated M. Yeah. I would have to haggle, and I'd have to explain or give details about anything to get past getting an M-rated game when I wasn't 17.
Sure.
They don't state on the back of these boxes that, hey, you're about to buy a game where they have a simulated experience, which is like gambling. And that's not a warning given to the consumer, which in the case of children is the parent. So they're ignorant.
I think the argument still has to be made that it is gambling. I don't think it is.
It is the equivalent of. So if you're spending money, right? So that it comes down to, again, just because you win money doesn't mean the process of gambling is any different.
That's essentially the definition of gambling.
Well, also keep in mind, you don't have to win money for it to be considered gambling.
Right. So.
Right, it has to be some kind of establishment where your betting is sufficient about to make the risk that you're going to get something back more valuable in return.
Well, think of it this way: when you buy into a raffle, you're buying into a raffle for $1.
Sure, right? Like the lottery.
A raffle is considered gambling.
Right.
Like, again, because you're putting $1 into something, hoping for a larger return on that dollar.
Sure.
That's the gambling portion of it.
You're hoping for a rare item, whether it be a good or possibly a service, or in video games case, it's a piece of digital content.
Right. So you're still spending money for a raffle in some cases, or a slot machine, which was essentially what a loot box is.
Yeah, I could see the slot machine reference. But at the end of it, you still don't get. Like, I think it's pretty obvious nobody's getting money out of their Xbox or their PC. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing is, on a lot of video games, you're getting these items and they're selling them for real money value.
I mean, there are literal slot machines in Borderlands. You have to be careful with the line you're walking right now, because that would create that game. That would mean that game was adult only, and the sales would suffer because of it. This is the kind of regulation I don't like.
Oh, okay. I get it, but it would also on the flip end of it, it would be what's worse, us having to live with an adult only game, or companies being able to continuously take advantage of people who don't understand what's going on.
Right. I think being told by government what's right is the worst scenario.
Yes, but there is the situation is that it's not. I don't think the government should have to even get involved in this. I
agree. I think this is something the market can solve.
Yeah, the gaming market needs to kind of take a little bit of responsibility in this. And also going back to that thing you're talking about, like, we're not getting money out of this, but we're in a world where something of like an exotic rarity has a value within that world, or a unique item is considered to be rare or exotic, whether it be a weapon or whether it be a skin or something like that. And it has a value within this world. And some of these games are immersive in the sense that you live in this world. Yeah. And so while it's not a monetary, I can then go take that and go down to the store and buy something with it. But instead, in this world, I'm now considered to be richer. And that's what I think these kids are, and even adults are getting into, is the fact that, that skin that makes me look cooler, that makes me look different, has a value to it. So these loot boxes give you that.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, who gets the right to say that there is no value in that?
But hold on. But let's not ignore the fact that there are a metric ton of games out there that you can sell those items. So those items that you win, you can turn around and sell them for a monetary value.
Have you ever bought a console and turned around and sold it?
No, I've always had mine until they melt down or blow up.
So let's use
but you understand my point there. A lot of people like to say, pre-order new consoles, turn around and sell them because they know they're going to get a better return on their investment.
Yeah, but that's not gambling. There's no. That is a gamble, but that is not gambling. So there's a legal definition of gambling that it involves a random amount of chance of you getting a specific prize or a specific outcome to it. So yes, I can buy a system and I'm taking a gamble that I'm going to make my money back, but that's not gambling. I mean, it's a gamble. I know it doesn't. Right, but
as far as I just fucked your mother and made you smell my fingers, bitch.
As far as I know, there are no, you can purchase all those items individually anyway.
No, on a lot of games you can't though. So there are games where you can only get those items out of loot boxes. That was why Battlefront 2.
Well, that's kind of dumb.
But that was why Battlefront 2 had such a huge outcry, because there were some things that you literally could only get out of loot boxes.
Sure. You got to also kind of consider like what people are actually arguing about right now. Like the superficiality of their video game, what their characters look like and stuff. Like part of me just doesn't even care that that's a complaint, you know?
That is true. At the end of the day, who cares? It's a video game.
Yeah, I think the vanity items are fucking insane right now.
But, let's take a prime example of like Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike is what I think really brought this to the forefront even before EA with their gambling websites where they would take skins from the Steam store.
Yeah, that was different though. They were doing, like, I know what you're talking about, that like gambling ring that was going on.
Oh, it's still going. Actually, I just looked up just a few minutes ago. There's about 5-6 sites you can go to and gamble for real world money in these sites. And
yeah, but you can gamble on sports, right?
True, but it's not regulated. But these aren't regulated. Those are regulated.
Well, there was one at one point in time. There was no regulation on gambling in sports as well, right? That came later. So that's what I'm saying. Is like maybe we're at that point where there should be some regulation considered.
Right. I think regulation is a huge step in the right direction.
But that would again be the government telling us what's right and wrong.
Right. So sometimes regulations can be good though. Like if certain regulations have been implemented that have shown that regardless people's like detraction or hatred of them, they've proven themselves valuable, right? Like the regulations for seatbelts, right?
Sure.
That's probably a decision the market would have made anyway. But it's one that was forced on the market's hand, and people were more than happy with it. Like that was a good result because hundreds of thousands of lives were saved in that process, probably more. If you consider the longevity of vehicles. So things like that are examples of like good regulation, but there are plenty of bad ones out there that are just
terrible. But you're arguing that the market would have made that decision. I don't agree. So what we're seeing and what we have seen is that there are a lot of things that won't happen until their hand is forced. You say that the market would have made the decision for seatbelts. I think that the market would not have made that decision, and companies would have continuously not made seatbelts because it would have been cheaper for them not to put those devices in a vehicle.
But then that's what they would have been paying for, right? The cheaper vehicle. So,
but that's my point, is that they would have continued doing it until they were forced to do it.
That's an economic benefit to both sides. The people purchasing the vehicle for cheaper, right? They get the benefit that it's a little bit cheaper, right? But then, the company gets the benefit of not having to sell as many expensive vehicles, which they would have sold less of. So, I get the argument there. But at the same time, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like the net life that was saved, right?
No. We're talking about the market making the decision that you're making the assumption that the market is going to do something correct. When it's historically has shown that until the market is forced to do it, it does not make the right decision.
True. That's not true.
That is totally true.
No, that's not. That's the only time that maybe has been true is in the example I just gave, the seatbelt argument. But look at leaded gas, right? That went out of town as soon as people got wind of the science. The medical information broke that it was very bad for people's health. So you don't see leaded gas anywhere. That's regulation now prevents it, but before that happened, before that happened, the sales went through the fucking floor. And so the same was true of vehicles without seatbelts. Even if they were legal to bring to market today, how many you think would sell? Unless, of course, they're motorcycles, right? Because those don't have seatbelts. School buses frequently do not have seatbelts.
But here's the argument, though. So you're saying that the market would have made that decision, and I'm saying that they wouldn't have, because they would have ignorance would have been the standard.
What I'm saying is the market.
Let me finish. If video games where we are right now is we're at an ignorant state where people don't understand what is going on, and the market and the company.
Who does?
But that's the thing. The big companies, these companies that are putting this into place, they know what they're doing. They know that they're making money off of this, and it behooves them to keep this situation in play. So you're arguing that the market is going to make the choice and say, oh, no, we're going to do this right. We're going to make this happen and get this to go away. I don't think they're going to, because I don't think the market understands what's really going on.
I would like to add that I agree with that because more specifically, look at gaming. Let's say 15 years ago. 'Cause I'm gonna say 15 years ago because in my eyes, I know when the vast majority of loot boxes were introduced to the Western market in terms of online gaming. Because this is where it came from. Online gaming from Korean companies importing their MMOs to the Western audience. So 15 years ago, let's say I think Nexon's MapleStory, for example. We had fully fledged games that you didn't have microtransactions that would nickel and dime you for costume pieces. You had fully fledged games that didn't have loot boxes that had content in them that you could sit there and play through its entirety. Nowadays, the companies have moved away from those fully fledged games into games that are less of what they have been in the past. We're getting
a la carte.
games a la carte. We're getting games as a service. They're unfinished, full of, Elder Scrolls Online was when it first released was full of 10 pages of bugs, of issues, so that they could. And then on top of that, they also introduced a cash shop that you could start paying for loot boxes for costume sets. So you're getting less content out of them. Is this a direction that we're ignorant of, or that we don't want to accept, but the companies want to force on us?
How are they forcing it on people?
They're forcing this concept because it's either you buy this content or you don't get the content, and it's actually getting to the point where games are now even taking game modes and putting them in exclusive deals.
People are making the choice to buy it.
They are making the choice, but they are also forcing
it's not
you.
Being forced on them.
And now let's take it into another stance.
Requires coercion. That's not how force doesn't work because people suggested you buy something and you bought it. That's not force. That's like saying peer pressure is force. It's not force.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the force comes into play where they give you a game and they don't give you the complete story. But to complete the story, to get the rest of the story, you have to buy said DLC or said expansion.
All the Warcraft expansion packs that have ever
existed. I'm gonna go back to a game that's a single player game, Dead Space 3. So to get the complete story out of that game, you actually had to buy DLC to get to the end of it.
You didn't have to go that far. Mass Effect 3.
Okay.
To get the ending that nobody wanted, because all the endings to that game suck. But yeah, I mean, sometimes games suck just as a result of them not knowing how to finish it, given a specific release date or whatever. But I would also include that what with these shady practices going on, right? We also exist during a time where more games are brought to market today than ever before. At the rate at which video games are coming out now it dwarfs historical rate. So, and that's going to be true from now until like the future. So maybe there's some point or some reason that they're doing that. Maybe they have to keep this profit machine turning in order to actually have the kind of.
Is that a case when they're all-time highs in terms of profits, when they're multi-billion-dollar corporations at this point?
But that's what I'm saying. Yes, they have a lot of profits, but that might also mean that they're using those profits to invest in other projects, right? And that might be why we have this many games coming out. That's my. I don't know if that's true though. I would have to see the data to see if their economic spending portfolio matches that idea.
So you can actually look at it as the history of modern gaming. Look at how video game companies handle new releases and new IPs. AAA titles don't typically branch out into new IPs. That's why we have Call of Duty 18, or Black Ops. Sure. The AAA companies will leech off of the smaller independent companies to take the risk, and then they will gamble on that.
Well, it's like music,
design.
Man. It's a huge risk because there's a good chance that you're going to bring out an album that flops.
But so they have the ability to make that risk. They have the money versus these independent companies.
Nobody has the money to piss it away. That's like and least of all, like what is it, like $160 billion in the whole video game industry? Like that's their annual wealth or whatever.
I think Star Wars: The Old Republic pissed away plenty when it was first released.
Well, yeah, you're talking about Look at the giant backing Star Wars, though. That piggy bank hasn't run dry for decades.
Right.
It's ridiculous. I agree with you there. I think that piggy bank should have run dry a long time ago. I'm not a big fan of Star Wars. I like the older movies. not so big on the last 6.
But the same thing is with Activision in Call of Duty. What was the last big title or IP that came from Activision? There
Destiny.
hasn't been one. There hasn't. Well, Bungie.
What's their flagship? Assassin's Creed.
That's Ubisoft.
Ubisoft, yeah, that's Ubisoft.
Oh, what does Activision do?
Call of Duty.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Call of Duty 4 just came out not too long ago.
Yeah, I think they're like. I don't even know what iteration of Call of Duty they're on anymore. I think 18's too low of a number.
Well, hang on. Let me Google this.
Well, also, hold on. So let's also take a look at it from this point of view, and just to play devil's advocate for a second. So we're complaining about loot boxes and all the different cosmetics that come out. Now, with the invention of loot boxes and with the influx of income from that, maybe that's why we have so many cosmetic options out of games now when we didn't, with games prior. Taking a look at the original Mortal Kombats, just because we were talking about them earlier. You had in Mortal Kombat 1 through 3, you had different characters, yeah, but that was their character. Like you did have different costumes you could throw on them. You didn't have different anything. That was the character. That's what you got. And nowadays you can really personalize your character. You can really personify yourself in your character if you so want. So maybe that's a positive that came out of all of this.
That is a positive. I mean,
to this day, when I see people play Mass Effect and I see their Shepard character, I'm like, that's a bullshit Shepard. That's a fucking clone. Get out of here.
That's not Shepard.
Right, because to me, my Shepard is the way I designed him. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. So maybe that has a lot to do with the personalization of stuff. But it's still like some people see value in that. And that's my point. Like if value can be generated, then you got people that are taking the time to design these costumes. Why shouldn't they be paid for their efforts?
And I'm okay. I'm okay with them being paid for. The thing that I'm not okay with is predatory practices that loot boxes come along with.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can if you're making in-game purchases look like part of the game, like fuck you. That's shitty. And because, like I said before, there are kids out there that certainly probably don't understand that pushing X and Y is going to like make mommy and daddy really mad, Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, I completely agree there. I think that's bullshit, and there needs to be something put in place to help prevent that for sure.
And that's really where I'm frustrated with, because so when I was growing up, my parents didn't really have to care so much what game I was playing. If I was playing Jurassic Park, they didn't really care what I was playing. They didn't care that I was playing Jurassic Park. If I was playing Mortal Kombat, they didn't care so much because it was a video game, and video games at the time had a very distinct stigma on them of it was just something you played to waste time and to blow off steam, and that was it. Video games nowadays have turned into such a machine. It's just, I have to worry about when I purchase a game for my daughter, and I do more research into the games I'm getting for my kid than the games I get for myself.
Sure.
And that's the part that scares me, is that I feel like fairly aware as a parent of a child who plays video games. I feel fairly aware there. And this is the lengths I have to go to. And I feel like I'm not doing enough at times. So I look at some of these other things of like, and I meet them all the time. And I'm sure if everybody's listening, everybody who's sitting here on the show, you've met them too, where they're people who are just downright oblivious to what the fuck is going on around them. So they're certainly not going to understand what the hell is happening with that video game that they're purchasing for their child.
Or they might be very well aware of it and okay with it. I'm sure there are parents of that sort out there as well.
I'm sure that there are, but I think there are more. I think there are more on the flip side of that than there are on the positive side of that.
I would say, yeah, you'd probably be easier. It would be an easier task to find those sort. I would imagine.
But that's the thing that frustrates me, is that you're targeting, like this is, if you take a look at the practice itself, this is a target. You're targeting the low-hanging fruit. You're targeting those people who don't know what's going on, or they're just throwing their kid, oh, my kid wants this. This is what they want to spend their allowance on. And they're not thinking ahead on that. They're just letting it happen. And
they should be teaching better financial practices, right?
That's right there, is that they should be, but they're 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 doing they're doing my parents. Hey, it's your money, you do what you want with it, whatever. But now with so many people and with companies, with these big companies that are targeting them like this, that's the thing that bugs me, is that like I have to protect my child from this. And I know better, but there are so many people that don't know better. And that's where I think, that's where I'm on the fence of maybe something should happen. Maybe some sort of regulation should be happening here to stop that.
Yeah, like I said, I think that I would agree to hearing ideas out as far as like what laws could be implemented to prevent the inadvertent purchasing. Like I said, if they're designing it to be like part of the game or whatever, like that's fucked up.
If loot boxes were earned in game outside of having to pay for them, like you get a loot chest, it's fine. It's a game mechanic that's existed since the beginning of time. When it comes to RPGs, you open up a chest, it's a random loot
RNG.
table,
right? Halo, the Master Chief Collection, or no, Halo 5 did that. I'm sorry,
right?
And that was fucking awesome. I love the items in that game.
Yeah, you have a chance to unlock everything, but I think when you start adding the monetary value to those loot boxes as exclusive rewards you can earn is where it should be drawing the line, which is where I think this bill is coming into play. And as someone who grew up, I was first introduced to these games back when I was like 12 and playing from G Potato and Nexon. I was introduced to it, and I can say I definitely have this addiction to the loot boxes.
Wait, hold on a second, guys. I think Blue Shark had something he wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we're going kind of in the right direction here with what we're thinking. But what kind of needs to be done is something similar to what people see. When people see, like when you were going back to the gasoline issue, they saw the issues with leaded gas from the studies. I think we need to have consumers be the driving force behind this change. I don't think politicians.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
Like if we get enough gamers that see this as a problem, then the companies who make these games will go, "Oh shit, our customers want this." Yeah. So I guess we should do something.
Yeah, I've purchased expansions to games. I think that's fine.
Yeah, expansions are fine,
and you get what you want out of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know what you're getting.
Sometimes the expansion sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like shit. But
expansion is completely different than a loot box.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, you could get the ending.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think I've ever purchased a loot box.
Okay.
So to me, it's not a problem because like every time I see one, I'm just I'm not enticed.
Well, think of it this way. Like, let's say you really desire to have a specific lighter. Let's go with that, for example. And Cecil's got a box for you. You could buy this box. It's this random box of shit from Cecil. It could have a lighter in there.
Well, if it could have a lighter in there, then I'm just going to go somewhere to get a lighter. That's pretty easy.
Well, I don't really know you well enough to say what would really drive it for you. So what would something you really desire be? That fits in a cardboard box. It's
okay, Lucifer.
Mount postage.
That fits in a cardboard box. Help.
It's like mailable post.
Fleshlight.
A human head.
Right.
Fleshlight. I call fleshlight.
If you do it diagonally, could it be like the whole forearm or?
Oh
my gosh.
But anyway, so like that's what
anal bum covers.
That's what these loot boxes are. Is like you don't have the option to go to the store. You really don't. Like you can't get that from the store. In some cases, and these are the ones that are really bad games. Like you want that hat for your character, or you want that gun or that skin or whatever that character. We're not going to give that to you in any other way unless you buy these loot boxes.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of shady.
You can't go into the store and go, "Oh, I want the hat, buy the hat." No, you have to buy a loot box and get a chance.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's kind of shady. All the all the loot boxes you get in Apex, right? Because you get them like for free. They give you one like every level or so or whatever the fuck it is.
I would have to say though, after 100, that stops. You don't get any free loot boxes.
That's true. They appear at like random intervals, and it's like few and far between.
I'm almost level 300. You don't get loot boxes past 100.
I'm past 100. Sometimes I get them. Like it'll be at the end of like after you level up like 10 rounds though. It'll be like here's a fucking loot box for some reason.
I don't get loot boxes in the PC version.
I think it's going to stop eventually. I think I'm at that threshold where it's going to stop. It seems to be getting like exponentially. Like the next time I'll get one is like 10,000 years or some shit.
That's interesting because I haven't had a loot box in ages.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like just because I don't get loot boxes in that game now doesn't mean I at all want to go buy the loot boxes for that game. Even though the game was free, I would consider doing it just to give them a little money for the game because it was free, you know?
Right.
But what happens when they release a new character and you're like, oh man, that character?
Dude, I got so many of those fucking points just stacked up. Like if they drop a new character, I'm going to be able to get it.
Now just think of
to dilute the water away from that fucking gas-toting motherfucker.
Is the cash out in the system designed differently? Because I have 200,000 points on the PC version, and I can't buy whatever I feel like.
Well, it's not whatever I feel like, but the characters I think are generally 12,000. Yeah,
so you can get the base character, and if you want the additional stuff, then you pay for you get to pay for the loot box. Okay.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't give a shit like about the superficiality of the character. Like in game, I don't care what I look like. Why would I care what my character look? You know what I mean? I really don't give a shit.
And then that comes down to another thing. Is like more specifically is that loot boxes and pay to win microtransactions are what they're trying to aim at. So in this case, that might be an exception to the rule.
That might be because if it's like a game breaking mechanic, right, that you can't get past a certain point. In some games, I'm okay with that because they're pretty apparent about it on your way going into the game. Like, hey, this game gets really hard. You know, you can't really get past certain points without having enough whatever stored up. But the only way to get that stuff is by playing the levels, and there aren't enough levels to play before it gets too difficult. You know.
Right.
And then you don't have the experience to be able to get past this point without buying it. You know, like you can see that coming. And generally when that happens in a game, I delete the game. I'm like, okay, fuck you. You're an app that I don't want then. Goodbye.
Sure. And I know exactly where you're going. Those are all those mobile games. Almost every single one of them.
Yeah, like the mobile games are real bad about that. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like I love playing like what is it? The zombie game. Zombie
Walking Dead?
No.
Days
Plants vs. Zombies.
Oh, okay.
That real stupid one. Like I don't know why I love that game, but it's just kind of like mind-numbingly fun.
It is. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's bizarre, but I like it. So
I think you should play tower defense games. You should play some more tower defense games.
Yeah. No, I love tower defense games too. That they're fucking cool. I don't know why, but I just like it.
Well, hold on a second. Zyber has something he wanted to say. He's been waiting patiently. What'd you got, Zyber?
Well, my thing was all the way fucking back when we were talking about like the parent end, and it's that, you know, as a parent, you should be more aware of like these accounts and not allow your card to be linked to their fucking system. That just breeds fucking corruption right there.
I agree completely. I agree completely.
But I think I think the issue is coming from the fact that you have to in order to get like the Xbox Live account, right? There has to be like an active card on file. So, like, I get that point where it's like kids then will play a game and then they'll just buy stuff because they have direct access. I think on Xbox you can actually set there's like
parental
a kid
controls.
Right. There's like parental controls that prevent that kind of stuff. But I could certainly understand some of the other markets out there not having that. You know, not everything is directly overseen by Microsoft.
But the thing is, you can set that shit up with a fucking prepaid card where they only have a certain amount of limit. If you're smart enough, you do that kind of shit.
That's kind of where I ended up growing up. Is my workaround is, and this is much easier nowadays. I could just buy a prepaid card at the GameStop and then go pay for whatever I wanted in, you know, MapleStory or any other game I wanted to play, and then I could have my fun at the loot boxes.
But you're giving a lot of credit to parents saying that they are going to go to that length, or that they are going to understand that length.
Well, they'll understand it but I think it has to do with convenience, right? It's not very convenient to do that. Or to have to do that.
Yeah, but again, I think you're giving them way too much credit. So we're all incredibly intelligent people. We've all got our heads screwed on pretty straight. I mean, article, you've smoked so much, I think yours is screwed on the opposite direction. But we've got our heads screwed on pretty well.
I have a point.
but my point is that people
hate me because I believe in people, man.
But I don't knock you for that. But you've got to respect the fact that there are, out of all the people in this world, there are a lot of stupid people. They're just,
a dumbass farmer from Vermont once helped fix a NASA issue.
I'm not even talking about something like that. Like that is something completely different. I'm talking about people like, dude, I have met doctors, people who will carve you open and pull shit out of you.
Yeah.
And they don't understand the concept of turning a machine, not a computer, a machine on and off. They physically do not understand this concept.
I mean, their specialty is entirely different. Technically their specialty is to make sure the thing never turns off.
Well, no. There are doctors who can't do the simplest things of like opening a can, like that kind of level of stupidity. Like,
that's my point. Is that you have people all across the board, and our expectation right now is that they can do X, they can do Y, they can do Z, and they'll safeguard this. But we're assuming that they have the capacity to do that, and there's a lot of people, and I just use the doctor example. Just as an extreme, there are a lot of people out there who don't have that capacity. They don't understand the concept.
Right. Well, they just don't feel like learning it.
Or seeing a different way of thinking is bizarre, and therefore it strikes a person as unintelligible. But some people that think differently are better adapted for certain tasks. Like a lot of scientists have bizarre personalities.
But you're straw man argumenting right now. You're taking me in different directions. What I'm trying to point out is that they can be super intelligent, like you're talking about, scientists and all this stuff, but they don't get the concept, and that's where these type of regulations, where these people really need to be protected from themselves almost. And I hate to say that, because that's where you really start opening the can of worms of, well, what can the government do? If they're going to do that, then they can do this. And now we got Nazi Germany.
Right. It is a slippery slope argument again, but that is the worry, right? Is that you're setting up a standard that it's like government knows better than you. And that's a weird kind of idea to hold. It's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be left up. Like, that's why we have juries. It's never usually just the judge that decides on things.
But even juries are fallible.
But that's the thing, is it's not just the judge. It's a group of people that we've elected to speak for us. That's the concept that we're putting here. We're not just saying that it's one person saying, "Oh, this is true, this is not. This is a bill that's being put forward and then voted on between all of us."
No, but is that really the way a democracy should work? Do you think that whoever has the most say therefore gets to control those who have the least? Like, that's not the way America is designed. That's not the way that America was intended to be.
No, it was intended so that there would be. Well, I mean, if you want to go that far back, America was intended to be that a small group of people would speak for everybody, because that's those larger group of people were not intelligent enough to speak for themselves.
Pointing out how they fucked up, right, doesn't mean that the intentions weren't good from the start.
No, I'm not saying the intentions were bad, but that's the world we live in. Is we elect people to make these decisions, and we write into these people so that we influence them to hopefully be on our side, and and the way it's supposed to work is that they listen to us and then give our best intentions forward.
But how can they listen to us if we also have to sit and think that, oh my goodness, I have to do better for them because they don't know how to do good by themselves? Wait, you're arguing to elect people that know better how your life should go than you do.
No. I'm arguing that we have a responsibility to
ourselves
and to everybody else to voice these type of concerns, and for us, the people who know what the hell's going on, to push this forward.
Sure. I mean, we do voice these concerns, of course.
But that's the point, is that we're trying, like, what we're arguing is that you're arguing that the market is going to take over and do the right thing.
Well, it's going to do a thing. I didn't say it was going to do the right thing.
I think they've already shown what their intention is to begin with. So I don't think their intention is to go away from this anytime soon.
No, I don't think I don't think that's the intention either.
And that's the problem, is that we're not going to.
Look at how much money Battlefield lost.
That was because the EA came out and the CEO said some pretty negative things towards their audience.
Well, no, it was also in backlash to the release of Star Wars. Whatever that game was. I can't remember what his name. Beautiful
Battlefront.
Yeah, thank you, Battlefront. That game, when I first played that game, I was blown away at how good it looked. I was like,
"Oh yeah, shit. It was absolutely gorgeous."
Yeah,
like I'm upset that game didn't do better, because that game,
same.
Even the first Battlefront, was really, really great.
Yeah, it
very
felt
pretty.
like you were fucking playing in Star Wars. It just lacked any soul, really.
Yeah, you just didn't see Chewbacca running around.
Well, I had Yoda sitting next to me on the couch.
You said what?
Yoda was sitting next to me on the couch when I started that game. Or am I the only one that sees the little green man in the room right now?
You're the only one in your room right now.
Something tells me that you need to share whatever it is that you've been taking with the rest of us, because Tom is not doing it for me.
Denver just
sober here.
Denver just voted to decriminalize magic mushrooms.
I saw that.
Wow.
What will they think of next?
We're fucking dumb.
Yeah. That's my point. We're
exactly. You admitted to it. You admitted to it.
No. See, this would perhaps be the case where government oversight is better, right? Because drugs have actually negative consequences. But I don't see what the negative consequences.
So does gambling.
What are the negative consequences aside from people losing money that they didn't mean to spend, which happens, like, quite frankly, all over the market.
It's still an addiction.
Regardless of how you look at it, it's still an addiction.
Enabling an addictive personality?
Yeah, but you could say that about people that had that craze to buy Beanie Babies. You know what I'm saying?
And
collector's market.
I mean, it's like the argument that I'm addicted to masturbation.
Is digital content equivalent then, or is it not? Because it's created. It's created.
Yes, but I mean, you can look at it.
The game shuts down.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But you could still potentially have it on a hard drive somewhere.
Not if it's an online game, especially with the current market and the way it's going. Games as a service is specifically set up so that once the game, they provide you a service.
I do agree that it does feel like you're having less and less ownership over the things that you buy.
Right, and so software, you own software. If you buy
negative, you do not own software. You own a license.
Yeah, because technically, if you owned it, you'd be given the blueprints. You know, you could freely look at the coding and the, you know what I mean. But you'd have
and then reverse engineer it, and then that comes down to where plagiarism becomes a thing as well.
Yeah, it's also what China's great at doing.
They are really good at doing it.
They're pretty flawless. I think that while I think regulation and a bill needs to be put in place, we're also talking about sending it to the same people who are ignorant to this information, and they're going to be lobbied by these companies.
Yeah, that's true. That's another reason why I'm kind of sketchy about letting government control the internet, because it's like, do they know? Like,
I highly doubt they
old
play it.
People who, like, they try, they could sit there and be like, oh no, my computer broke because I've been trying to turn it on all day and it's been unplugged the whole time or whatever, you know. So I don't know. I mean,
that's a scary.
Yeah, but I've met young people who do that too.
Well, that's what was probably the best part of the whole, like, Clinton email scandal, right? Was watching Congress try to talk about how the internet works. It's just a fucking train wreck, man. It's just absolute train wreck.
He's just face palming the entire time.
Oh god, it's so bad. It's so funny though. So fucking funny.
Alrighty, well, since we've dove way off the political scale here, try not to get political show desperately, but we dove way off the political. No, I think it was mild into that. But we've got some questions. We actually have some questions that we got to go through and ask. So in the essence of time here, we're just going to crack down and go through, line up each person and put them in front of the firing squad. So our first question is from Icy. Icy asks, if you could Thanos snap anything out of existence, what would you choose and why? So let's go down that line there. Blue Shark, what would you Thanos snap and why?
Stupid people.
So we're all dead.
Plot twist. We all disappear.
Okay, so really, really stupid people who are just they do all the dumb shit that you shouldn't do, and they think they're the smartest people in the world for it. Like they're really just oblivious to it.
I think history shows that more wars have been fought by smarter people.
Well, it's because it's a game of chess at this point, and someone like Hasbro invented this game called Risk.
Alrighty. What about you, Potassium Hydroxide? What would you Thanos snap out?
What would I Thanos snap? Can I snap into existence? Or do I have to snap out?
I think the question was snap out. So, yeah, it was snap anything out of existence.
Starvation. Overpopulation. I'm sorry.
So you would kill half of the people.
I think that no, the Thanos route isn't always the most correct route. You could make other worlds. You could add to the universe rather than take away from. You could add additional planets that people could populate and live on.
So you would Thanos snap. You would just basically make a temporary fix to a more permanent problem.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I dig it. What about you, Article? What would you Thanos snap out of existence?
I would Thanos snap Godzilla being an imagination out of existence. Because Tokyo is getting too big for its britches.
So that he becomes a reality.
Nice. I like that there. I like how you just kind of played around the rules right there. I would snap him out of imagination of existence.
Gaiaka!
That shit would be terrifying, but good God. I think my little child heart would be like so happy to see that.
You'd run up and be like, "Will you sign this?" As he stomps you into oblivion.
So the reality of Pacific Rim would become a thing.
No, because Godzilla would just fucking destroy shit. He wouldn't allow for other ones to exist.
Fair enough.
That's what's good about Godzilla.
No Kashi, they all die.
Mm-mm-mm.
What about you, Zyberblood? What would you Thanos snap out?
What would I snap out? I would snap out of existence anyone that has served time in jail.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, that is painful. All right.
Like any time? What if you were visiting?
Anytime. Anyone that has been taken in, held for a day, 20 minutes.
So I gotta be a devil advocate about that.
Damn.
You know, there have been many people who've been released because they were falsely accused after they're looking at the records and evidence.
Fuck them.
I'm cool with it.
Oh.
You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs.
So
exactly.
It's the lesser evil of the two. Okay.
I've made mistakes. I own up to them. Other people need to own up to them.
Yeah, but man, that would get rid of all all the bad criminals, and all those little thugs that never got arrested would still be out on the street.
And he specifically said jails. Did that also include prisons?
Well, yeah, I think does.
So.
Yeah.
Any kind of detainment.
Okay.
Oh shit!
Like if you were at a mall and you were detained in a back room till police showed up.
What if I'm detained in line, like at the DMV? Does that count?
Yes, it does. It's
We're
a
all
public municipality.
Oh, hold on. I have never been detained. So
Zyberblood is going to be the last person on Earth, and he's going to be sitting there looking around like that one dude from the Twilight Zone, where he's like, "I can read every book in existence now," and then he sat on his glasses.
That's all right. I can still masturbate.
Exactly. Well, what I would Thanos snap out of existence is a very, very simplistic thing, but I think it would have the most meaningful impact on this world. I would Thanos snap out every warning label ever made in existence. Just boom, all warning labels.
So
gone.
you're basically doing what I did.
Yeah.
No. I'm not doing what you did. I'm not snapping out those people. I'm letting natural course work its way out.
Natural selection, yeah.
I like
your natural selection for the video game market is that can't be allowed though.
But if you can't understand the concept that you just ordered a boiling hot cup of coffee and it's going to burn if you accidentally spill it on yourself, that concept you can't grasp.
Look at the actual details of that case. and I bet you will change your mind.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I've seen a bunch of those cases. I know which one you're talking about. I've seen a bunch of those cases though.
It was like 60-40. It was 60% McDonald's fault, but also partially the woman's fault as well in the end.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
the coffee
it was
was
in the
way too hot.
Right.
Way too hot.
But she was
but
at
it
fault for
wasn't
spilling on herself.
completely McDonald's fault. McDonald's
Right.
had some negligence in there.
But okay, so
McDonald's-
here's a warning label on a set of Korean knives. It says "Keep out of children," translated to
Keep
American.
out of children.
Okay. I want to point out that let's take that warning off of there and see how many of these children actually get knives in them because of this.
I thought this is where to store them. I didn't get it.
All of a
Maybe
sudden,
that-
you've got that guy in your kitchen, that red guy that holds all the knives. It just happens to be little Timmy, just with a whole bunch of knives stabbed through him. I thought that was normal.
Moving on from the dark thoughts. Next question.
Next question. Actually, this one's from you, Blue. You want to ask this question?
Yeah, Cecil, when are we going to finish this Star Wars D&D thing that we did over probably 100 episodes ago?
You know what? I think honestly, we would probably just have to redo it. We would just have to start from scratch and try to redo it.
Damn
But
it,
we
so
could-
you're telling me there's a chance that I might die?
Again, yeah. No, you're probably going to die. Like everybody's going to die.
If you're starting
that-
from scratch, does that mean I can join in?
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah, I think we could possibly put it off. I think what we'd have to do is we would have to make sure that whomever wanted to play could dedicate, the 8 or so hours of their life to actually completing the camp, to completing the adventure. Because,
When
Like
would
a
you look to
weekend.
do it?
well, that would be something we would definitely have to plan out. But I think that's what we had to do. What we'd have to do is because we had some people who were a bit flaky on the last one.
Hi.
That couldn't really commit to it. So,
Sure.
I think we really.
I'm coming up on like a bit of a break between now and my next classes. So
Well, I don't know whether we'll be able to pull it off because I'm doing another campaign here locally. So
that's all I'm saying. I was like, if it could be soon, that'd be cool. But if not, that's cool.
yeah, I mean, I still got all the assets for it. I still got all the resources for it. We would just have to find a better avenue too, because people that kept writing dicks on the whiteboard really, really got frustrating after a while.
Couldn't you do it with roll 20?
Well, the problem with Roll20 is that you have to, all the assets you have to build in Roll20, and it becomes a huge pain in the
Okay.
ass because you end up, I spent probably 100 hours designing this adventure,
Mhm.
and I probably would have had to spend 20 or 2 times that developing all of those assets into Roll20 correct.
Fair enough.
Now, if I was better with Roll20, I probably could do it in 2 hours, but I'm not. So,
Yep.
I'm old school. I'm paper and pen.
Get good, kid.
I know. I gotta get good. But I think we
Should
could. I think we
catch
could
up with
plan
those
that out, and if we actually had some interest in some people who'd be willing to, dedicate, a few weeks into playing that, I think we could possibly pull that off. I'm actually super. So just on the D&D thing, I'm actually really super excited because tomorrow I'm getting up a D&D campaign, and I'm going to try to record it and see if I can actually make something out of it and publish it. But I'm actually going to get back into DMing after so long. I think the last one I DM'd was that Star Wars game. But I'm really going to get back to DMing, and we're going to do a bi-monthly, twice a month sit down and adventure campaign. And tomorrow we're actually doing just kind of a pre-session 0. It's actually going to be a memoryless adventure where everybody's going to get a blank character sheet, and they're just going to have to work out who they are and what they can do, and then complete the adventure. It should be just a quick one-off, one-night adventure. It'll be interesting, and then the game after that. And really, this one is just to get everybody's feet wet, see if A, they like me as a DM, B, if they like each other as characters to play, and then we'll see who shows up for session 0. Because the first session is always like you saw with Star Wars, getting everybody together for the first time, really, really easy. Getting them together for that second time, real pain in the dick. So we're gonna see who
I'll
shows
give
up
you
for
a
that.
pain in the dick.
Yeah, you will.
Sorry.
So we'll see who shows up for that second one, and if that second one works out, then those will be the people that stick around for the actual campaign. Which, ironically, I don't know if any of them are actually listening to the show, but the campaigns that I have planned out actually not only span from D&D 5e, but the storyline is going to transverse over into a Vampire the Masquerade and World of Darkness campaign as well. It's really going to be interesting where we go with it.
Well, I'd be interested to join campaigns. So if you got a spot open, I could be down for that.
Well, it's all going to happen here. So, I mean, you have to travel down here. We're not doing it online at all. It's all going to be in person.
Fortunately, I'm already down south.
Oh, are you back down here?
Yeah, I'm in Chesterfield at the moment.
Dude, you've been down. Fucking A. How long you been down here?
About 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks now.
Dude, and you've been down here and you have not reached out to me so we can go get a beer? I am severely disappointed right now.
I'm sorry. I have tried joining the Discord.
I am so disappointed, and I'm going to find you now, and I'm going to beat you into beer submission.
Well, now I'm going to vanish out of existence again. I'm going to snap my fingers.
He's going to Thanos snap himself out of existence. But that's the answer. That's the answer to your question, Blue. I don't think we need to go through anybody else because I think that's where you're aiming for. But we can definitely get that going again. And I would be excited because we never did finish that. And I had a bit of an interesting hook towards the end of that was going to turn out. I think you already saw kind of what was going on with it towards the middle there. Actually, Zyberblood called it like fucking right away.
Yeah. Only because of a certain couple of rolls and the messages I got because of those rolls.
Yeah. So I may have to alter it just slightly so you don't quite know what's going on. Maybe keep the same enemies or maybe add a couple more, like maybe some 3-dotted enemies. Who knows? All right. Next question. Without pirates, Wild West outlaws, and Depression-era gangsters are romanticized with modern criminal tropes that are currently feared today, do you think we will be next to join them in 100 years?
Wait, for what?
What?
Yeah, that's what I said. Okay. With how pirates, Wild West outlaws, and Depression-era gangsters are romanticized with modern criminal tropes. Okay, with modern criminal tropes that are currently feared today.
Sure. So you're wondering what our tropes will be in 100 years?
Oh.
Yeah,
Is
maybe.
that the question?
I guess,
No.
yeah. Do you think we will be next to join them in 100 or 200 years? I don't think so.
Like nerds will be next? Maybe. There
You
could
think
be
nerds
some
are-
super
Well-
nerds out there that are into some like mischievous shit.
You mean like cyber criminals type of thing? Like
Yeah,
people
they'd
who
be
are
the-
like
they'd be
super
the best
hackers?
at it. Like, yeah, they'd be the best at it, right?
Like we talking
already
Neo
exist.
level or what?
Yeah,
Well,
there you go,
we've
there
already
you go.
done that though. If you think about video games, what's that one called that Ubisoft came off with, where you were a hacker?
Watchdog.
Yeah, we've
the,
already
Watchdog.
romanticized that.
Oh yeah. I mean, hacking has been romanticized for a long time. So ever since I don't know, the fucking 80s, whenever computers even really became a thing.
Operation Swordfish.
Angelina Jolie banned hackers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swordfish.
I honestly think these spam callers are going to be romanticized in about 100 years.
No.
Oh my God.
You know what? I want to take it back. I'm going to Thanos snap all those motherfuckers out of existence.
Oh no.
We just go for telemarketers in general.
Oh.
Yeah, just snap, done, gone. I
might see a
revert back.
Bollywood movie of those.
All right, next question. Would you date a rich 90-year-old woman who you
Yes.
knew is definitely going to live for another 5 years? She'll leave you everything. She'll leave everything to you in her will as long as you never cheat on her, and she'll always know you must have sex with her regularly, and you have to publicly introduce her to all of your friends and family as your girlfriend.
So I have to be a gold
As
digger.
far how
Yeah.
rich she is,
Right off the bat, yes, and I would butter the toast.
she is worth $50 million, and that's how much you will inherit. Dude, this is a no-brainer. I would do less than that. Like, I would do
We do
more
more,
than that
yeah.
for less than that.
Yeah.
Like, shit,
Yeah,
I'd eat M&M's out of a stripper's asshole for $20.
That's a little extreme.
Hey, dude, your brother licked a pole, man. Don't judge
Nope.
me.
What makes you think I don't judge him?
Wait, Blue Shark, did you say no? You would not do that?
That's right.
Fair enough. You don't be labeled as a gold digger.
Exactly. I have
Fuck,
morals. damn
It doesn't matter if you have 50 grand.
Yeah,
Fuck
man,
them.
It's
It
not
doesn't
50
matter.
grand, it's 50 mil.
I think it's
Hey,
important to.
I'm thinking small. I got on the roll of
We know what Zyber's price is.
Yep. Well, we got a Shelby Mustang for him.
I'm looking at my debt right now, and the fact that I need a new camera, and that would do me good right now.
Yeah, but imagine how many cameras you could buy with $50 million.
Dude, I could buy like a couple 1DXs.
Hold on. IC did not specify 50 million what? It could be 50 million pesos.
Ooh, 50 million yen.
Yeah, so he didn't specify there. So
It could be 50 million freaking Nigerian dollars.
I'm still gonna do it. I don't care what the hell it is.
Could be like 50 million Dogecoins.
Could be like 50 million like clamshells. I don't care. I'm still doing it.
Hey, in Flintstones era, you're good.
Let's point out here, I'm gonna get sex regularly. So there's that positive too.
Okay.
It's going to be kind of like peeling apart a grilled cheese sandwich at times, but that's what they make lube for.
Fair enough.
You're talking about the last 5 years of this woman's existence.
Make her happy.
Pretty much.
What? So
you're going to be banging the crypt keeper.
So what? So I just got to take the diaper off to get going? What? Okay, that's fine.
It's going to be rough, man.
Okay, look, they make Quaaludes. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, next. Jesus Christ.
Moving on.
I might have to edit that one out. Next question. Would you... Man, I got to stop drinking so much on this show. Would you rather be naked at work or a family reunion, and why? So let's go down the line on this. Let's reverse that up. Zyber, would you rather be naked at work or at a family reunion, and why?
Fuck. I need my job, so family reunion. Everybody has that one cousin.
All right. Okay.
No. So is there repercussions if I'm naked at work, or is like?
I'm assuming so. What about you, Arco? What's your flavor?
I would agree with Zyber. Honestly, that sounds reasonable to me. I think a family would be far more forgiving than your coworkers.
Right, because like at say a family reunion, there's always that one like family member, at least in my family, because we're northern New York and backwoods Vermont. So,
yeah.
Okay.
What about you, potassium hydroxide? What do you say?
I'm gonna say the family route. I'm gonna have to agree with everyone else, though. More forgiving. I'd rather not lose my job if I'm show up to work naked.
All right. What about you, Blue Shark?
Don't want to lose my job, but at the same instance, there are little kids, and I don't know if I want to scar them for life. So it's a rock and a hard place.
I'm gonna go. Well, which one do you say?
I want to keep my job, and if I'm going to get in trouble for that shit at work, then it's going to have to be the family reunion.
All right. See, now I'm going to go with work. And the only reason I'm going to go with work is it doesn't say how long I have to be naked. And I've taken a shower at my work before. So I'm fine with that.
Oh, fair enough.
And he doesn't even say if we'd have to be around people. So fuck it.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't specify. So I'm going to go with work.
Close the office door.
Because I've taken a shower at work before when I've gone for like a run outside or something, run back inside, take a quick shower, and be done with it. So
they do have a gym there. Yeah,
they do.
Is that really part of? I guess it could be considered part of work. Some places
I'm at my job.
I was going to say some places are actually good enough about providing that kind of shit for their employees, which is cool.
Yeah, where he works, they allow him to utilize it before, after work, and if you're a government employee during work, you have your own period of hour that you can use it.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. So, is it like a base gym? Like,
yeah, it's like a base gym.
Okay.
Alrighty. So last question by Zyberblood. Zyberblood, do you want to just ask this one out?
If you could have any one item from a game that you want, if you could have any one item from a game, what would you pick and why?
I got one.
Me too.
So let's go with Forza 4. I want the 1964 Ferrari 250 GTO because I can then sell that bitch for a cool $10 million.
Ooh, good call. Yeah, that's like 1 year for the All right. What about you? What about you, potassium hydroxide?
I'm gonna go with the deck of many things from D&D.
Ooh,
It causes a little anarchy and chaos.
I like
Or
it.
I might die instantaneously.
Little of column A, little of column B.
Yeah.
What about you, Arkle?
Yeah. I'd have to go back to. I have two choices really, but I would have to make an alteration to one. One choice is pretty obvious. I would grab Godzilla out of any of his games and put him in Tokyo. It's gonna happen.
You're going to genetically engineer God just so that you can release him on Tokyo. You are going to be the end of the human race.
Well, I'm gonna let him choose. I'm gonna let him choose. Yeah.
But that's a creature, not an item. It doesn't count.
Oh, you're right. So the item I would choose then would be the Atma weapon, from Final Fantasy III.
Oh, yeah, it's a badass weapon.
Yeah, but the thing is that it increases its strength with experience, but I don't know what kind of experience that would be in like real world, like real life.
Well, it depends on the kind of drugs you're taking.
Or or how much you're using it. I mean, I use mine a lot.
The thing's going to be powered by weed and is going to be strong as fuck.
They didn't specify if the actual things worked.
Or never leave the couch. One of the two.
Oh man.
Well, I'll use it to like heat food up that I order that gets cold.
Best use of the Atma weapon ever.
He'll use it to light his bong.
Oh man. No, dude, we gotta find somebody who can draw that. Just the article sitting there with the freaking Atma weapon lighting a bong with it. Oh my god, we have to find somebody.
It's fucking like melting my eyebrows off and shit at the same time.
That would be amazing. God, we gotta find somebody on Fiverr.
But yeah, it's always been like my favorite sword.
What about you, Zyber? What would you pick?
God. Just because it'd be really annoying, I'd want the OP sword from Terraria, the Meow Meow.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. In Skies of Arcadia, there's a fish you can get as a weapon that does like massive amounts of damage.
Dude, this weapon fires these cats that have this rainbow trail. The rainbow trail does damage, and the cats do insane amount of damage. And the cats not only shoot across, but they bounce. They once they hit space, they drop back down and keep on bouncing until there's nothing left of them.
All right. Well, the thing I would choose, and I actually got two, so it would be one or the other. So one, and I guess I would have to modify it slightly, but I would get Samus's suit. I would just modify it so it fit a male instead of a female.
Yeah, you take away the tits and add a cod piece.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd have to have a little room down there. Not a lot. I'm not packing a lot down there, so I don't need a lot of room. I just need a.
So you'd be a 7-foot Iron Man.
Henceforth, a thimble.
I would be a 7-foot Iron Man that could tuck down into a fucking ball.
You just take Iron Man's suit.
No, because in Samus's suit, I can tuck down into a fucking ball and I can do that screw attack.
Oh, that's
like
true.
Dude, I don't see Iron Man doing that fucking screw attack. He goes into that she goes into that spinning thing, and all of a sudden,
the run.
Fair enough.
Yeah, the fucking run,
and jump and shit.
Like,
yeah.
Okay, so I can't fly like Iron Man, but that's okay. I can survive. Like, I don't have to worry about icing up when I get up in the atmosphere because my fucking suit is already designed to do that shit.
He fixed though.
You have to find all that shit though. That's the thing. Are you going to get the Samus suit just in general? Because it might just give you that, and then it's like,
nah. He's talking about final form.
I'm not talking about the Zero suit. I'm not going to walk around in a spandex.
Because that would be funny as fuck. You're like, oh fuck, I gotta find this shit now.
Shit, where's the wave beam? It's on another planet. How do I get off Earth?
Christ.
You might want to specify that. They might give you the spin.
him just having that freaking dash move. Don't play hack with him when he has that dash move.
Oh yeah, I'll fucking take your head off. The other thing, if like, okay, let's say the Samus suit was off the table, I would get the aluminum mallard from Space Quest 3.
You have to elaborate on that one.
Yeah, so the aluminum mallard was a joke on the Millennium Falcon, but the reason I like the aluminum mallard is because it was kind of like It was kind of like the Winnebago from Spaceballs.
Okay.
But it wasn't as big as that. It was basically designed to be like a one-person operation spacecraft that could sustain a human being for like ever, but it could also like travel through space at ungodly speeds and get all over the place. But it was super easy to fix because it was all put together by like duct tape and chewing gum and paper clips.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, just like the first thing we sent into space.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that's what I would go for. Well, I guess without further ado, Blue Shark, where can people find you at, man?
You can find me on G.N.A's Discord. You can find me on the TPC Discord. You can find me occasionally checking our email, wondering if someone's going to finally send an email to us.
Yeah, like
I'm
that's
still waiting. You also find me on Twitter at BlueShark45. And if you want to play some video games, hit me up in Discord. And I play sometimes on PC, but mostly I play on Xbox.
Nice. Where can people find you at Potassium Hydroxide?
You can't find me.
On the periodic table, maybe?
No, he's not an element. He's a compound.
Yeah.
Well, you can find parts of them there.
I snapped my fingers, guys. Come on.
I heard that. I'm like, shit, is he doing a Thanos snap?
Oh, okay. No, you can find me here on the G.N.A Discord. And that's about it, really. Often playing Black Desert or other games.
Rock on. What about you, Arkle? Where can we find you at?
You can find me right here at whatever the fuck my name is here. This is Article. Find me on Xbox Live, Outstanding CF2, and Instagram at I Got Cronies.
Nice. What about you, Zyberblood? Where can people find you at, man?
You can find me palling around on the G.N.A Discord, G.N.A Facebook, the G.N.A Twitter, as well as my own stuff. That's Zyber Games, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah. Anything else? Just go to Twitter, look at my pinned tweet, hit me up.
All right. I'm Cecil Xavier, your host. You can find me on Twitter at Cecil vs. Games. You can find me on Facebook, Mixer, Twitch, Ustream, all the other best places as Cecil Xavier. If you can't find me, then you're really not looking that hard because I am everywhere. You can also find me palling around the G.N.A Discord, TPC's Discord, Josh of All Trades, Yeah Dude Gamers, D's Microbrew Gamers Discord. I'm all over the place. If you can't find me, then you're not looking hard enough. So we hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Reviews help people find the show. So if you enjoy listening to us, let other people know. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play Music, Podcast Addict, Stitcher, Player FM, Spreaker, MyTuner, Your Listen, Spotify, and iHeartRadio now. So go check us out on any one of those. If we're not someplace, let us know. We'll upload there too. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook. Just search at G.N.A Podcast, all one word. You can also join the Discord chat. Just see the pinned tweet. We do a game show night every first Saturday of every month. We do that on Mixer at www.mixer.com/G.N.A podcast. We play some Jackbox games and give away some Steam codes. So if you want some free games and you want to play some games, come on over, check it out, hang out. It's fun. You don't need anything except for a web browser. You can do it from your phone or a computer or a laptop, or if you got one of those chips in your head, you can do it from there too, I guess. But the chip in the head thing might be a bit weird. Anywho, so we also are partnered with we are partnered with Humble Bundle. Hey, Blue Shark, can you tell us anything about Humble Bundle?
Line.
I haven't had a schneef in a long time.
Line.
So Humble Bundle is a game purchasing service. It doesn't cost you anything to use it. You can go buy all of the games that you play on Steam and other services.
Wait, I thought you said it doesn't cost you anything.
It doesn't cost you anything for using it. Gosh, Jesus. So anyhow,
but buying is using it.
Moving
on. Humble Bundle. You can help out G.N.A raise money for charity by going on to Humble Bundle and using partner equals G.N.A podcast at any Humble Bundle link that you find on the internet. and purchase your game, and you can set it so you can give all the money to the developer, to the publisher, to charity, whatnot. We suggest you slide it all the way over to charity. And this month, G.N.A has raised $8 for Extra Life, right?
Oh yeah, Extra Life.
That is correct.
Yeah, Extra Life. And also, G.N.A also hosts on Wednesday nights at 17:30 Eastern Standard Time. 19:30 Eastern Standard Time. Community Anime Night. We host it on rab.it/G.N.A podcast. And Rabbit, but whatever, spelling it out. Anyhow, we're currently working our way through Mob Psycho 100, and we hope that you will join us this Wednesday.
Rock on, rock on, rock on. Don't forget to check out our good friends Brian and Susan Langell on 3-Player
Wait,
Co-op.
did you cover horror movie night?
Dead air.
You didn't.
Dead air.
You didn't.
Dead air. Dead air.
You
Dead air.
didn't, did
Dead
you?
air. Dead air.
You didn't.
Dead.
Horror.
You didn't, did you?
I thought he did.
Oh, yeah,
Or did you?
Didn't Blue cover that?
No, I covered Anime Night.
Fuck.
Horror.
Take 3.
Anyways, go check us out on Horror Movie Night every second Saturday of the month, hosted by Zyber Blood or me, depending on sober and can the keyboard at the time, which obviously is not me. But check us out. We start there at is it
2000.
2000? No, that's 8 o'clock. It's 2100. Yeah, 9 o'clock we start. Yeah, it's 2100 we start. Anywho, so if you've already missed it if you heard this episode, but we're doing House and House 2, I think. Is that what we're doing?
That is correct.
Fan-friggin-tastic. Dude, you've never seen House?
I've never seen House. I've never heard
Oh,
of it.
man. So, like, the first House is, like, a great horror flick. The second one was kind of like a comedy horror flick. Still really great.
I was actually going to make that point. Doesn't watching horror movies just generally wind up being like comedy night?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, I don't know of too many horror movies that are actually scary.
I don't know, man. Sinister still fucked me up.
I don't know if I've seen that one, but
Yeah, like I can't. If I ever go to buy a house and I see a fucking box full of canister tape reels and an 8mm player, I seriously will burn that fucking house to the ground. Like I won't even tell them that I'm not buying it. I will just burn that house to the ground. And I will just walk away. I will strut the fuck away as that house burns behind me. Like that's how that will play out.
Speaking of tape reels, I watched Jezebel the other day. Did not like it.
Oh yeah.
Was not a good horror.
You know, Cecil, it did follow people when they tried to leave.
I don't care, man. It can follow me all around the world because I'm going to be a walking man. Forrest Gump, walking and running everywhere. That's it. It'll just follow me around the goddamn earth. Anywho, we want to thank Morgan BS Photography for our new logo and art. Check him out at morganbs.com. Email us at GNApodcast at GNAinyourdNA.1 with questions, comments, death threats. We don't care. We just want Blue Shark to stop complaining that we don't get emails. Last but not least, check out our website at www.gna.com. We have the whole podcast up there. We've got pictures. We're eventually going to do more stuff with that, but I'm still in school. I didn't get out of school, so yeah, fuck school.
agreed.
Yeah. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I had a ball. I've also run out of rum, so I got to go fill up. Have a great night.
You as well, brother. Have a good night.
Bye, everybody.